classmates. I'm here to interview ASEC Tonisito Umari of Department of Education. So, thank you for giving us this opportunity, sir. We have some questions here that we want to know more about. So, our first question is, in relation to the DepEd's commitment to provide every Filipino child with access to quality education, what are the programs in place by DepEd to ensure that this commitment is being achieved?
Well, when you talk about programs of DepEd, when you talk about programs in relation to achieving quality basic education, which is also, I believe, related to one of the questions that you also would like to ask in relation to the programs that we are implementing in connection to achieving the Philippine education for all, or the EFA goals. You always talk about first about the basic resources to achieve quality basic education. And you talk about teachers, classrooms, learning materials or textbooks, chairs, and toilets or water and sanitation facilities. These are the basic resources that we have to address. Of course, it's not the end all and be all of having a quality basic education. But these are critical on top of the other programs that DepEd has to implement to achieve really quality basic education. So let's talk about, for example, classrooms. As of 2016, for example, at the end of 2016, the end of this calendar year alone, we expect to construct more or less 38,000 classrooms. Last year, we have constructed more or less 41,000 classrooms. 2014-2013 combined more or less 67,000 classrooms. These numbers are very significant, Leila, considering that in 2010 and the years prior to 2010, we were only talking about classrooms in the 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 numbers being constructed, number of classrooms being constructed. So the past years you could see, and even by next year, we really concentrated in closing the gap, constructing enough classrooms to achieve the ideal ratio of 1:40 up to 50, more or less. One classroom for every 40 students or up to 50 students. Medyo manageable pa yan. Kindergarten, ideal ratio is 1:25. Same thing with teachers. You have to achieve the ideal ratio. Teacher to pupil ratio, also almost the same number that I have mentioned. So this year, ongoing, we intend to hire more or less 55,000 teachers. Last year, we have hired more or less 39,000 teachers. 2013, we hired more or less 60,000 teachers. Total teacher items created from 2010 up to the present, more or less 230,000. So if you look at the numbers again, prior to 2010, 2009, 2010, we only created like 11,000 teacher items. So the government and the present government, the last administration and this present administration is really serious in closing the gap. Okay. Same thing is true with respect to our textbooks. We are procuring enough textbooks to achieve the ideal ratio of one student for every one textbook, and also one chair, obviously, for every one student, and the sufficient number of toilets for every male or female students. That's what we are trying to do for the last 6 years and being continued by the present administration. Very quickly, I would like to share with you the targets for next year. So for next year, very quickly, we intend to construct more or less 47,000 classrooms. So makikita mo, Leia, yung focus talagang sufficienteng dami ng silid-aralan. That's very critical. So that we stop talking about class congestion, we stop talking about students learning in a classroom that is so congested and no longer conducive for teaching or learning, things like that. We intend to hire another more or less 53,000 teachers for next year, procure more or less 66,000 sets of tables and chairs. From 2012 to 2015, we have distributed more or less 3.6 million chairs, computer packages, learning materials. We're procuring that. Okay, on top of the basic resources that I have mentioned to you, again, classroom, teachers, textbooks, toilets, and chairs, you talk about programs for you to have quality basic education. So we have this computerization program where we are delivering computer packages in all of our schools, elementary and secondary. We have almost delivered all secondary schools with power. Kasi meron pang mga laminan na wala pang kuryente. We have delivered computer packages. Same thing, same goal with respect to elementary. So we have this DepEd computerization program. When you talk about quality basic education, you talk about programs where you will allow students to have access to, so you have quality basic education. When you do all this, you build enough classrooms, then you improve access to quality basic education. So we have the alternative learning system, a system where you allow students who are not, you may say, capable of going to a formal class setting, whatever their situation may be. Maybe they have to help their parents to sell some of their goods in the market or whatever, or maybe they have to help in the farm, they have to help in their family business, whatever their situations are. There should be a system where you will give them an opportunity to learn basic education, and that's why we have what you call the alternative learning system. For our Muslim brothers, we have the Madrasa education program, so special program where programs being contextualized, yung tinatawag nating Arabic language and Islamic values or allied subjects are being taught. Kasi siyempre, we have to admit na medyo iba siguro yung sistema na paniniwala ng ating mga kapatid na Muslim. So we have to have projects to address that. We have what you call the Indigenous Peoples Education Program. Our indigenous people, the Manobos, the Taosuks, I don't mean any disrespect, all these great IT brothers, Filipino brothers of ours, hindi naman po pwede bibigyan mo na sila ng kaparehong programa. You should have a special IT school and IT program for this group of people. We have the special education program to cater to our children with we call it exceptionality or some form of disability, special needs. Dapat may special program ka rin dyan. Visually impaired, hearing impaired, those with ADHD, and whatever exceptionality, that's the technical term that they're using. Dapat meron kang special programa sa kanila, and in the spirit of inclusive education, you should have the capability. Your teachers should be trained that pag sinabi mo kasi inclusive education at all, to the extent possible, dapat yung mga batang ganitong may sitwasyon, isinasama mo pa rin sa karamihan. You don't make them feel they're different to the extent possible. Pag hindi kakayanin, you have a special program, you train them, you do the intervention. Pag kaya na, isasama mo uli. Even though they are visually or mayroong impairment sa hearing. So our teachers should be trained, there should be materials for them, there should be special programs for them, or intervention. So overall, we have lots of programs with DepEd. We have enhanced what you call the LRMDS, the Learning Resources Management and Development System. Or we have this learning portal. You could go to a website where our teachers could access their teachers, how would you say, teachers guide, their lessons for a particular day. Students may access the modules that is going to be or are going to be taught to them by their teachers. It's all there. It's all there. So those are some of the projects that we are embarking on to make sure that our children will have access to quality basic education, and our dreams of having education for all be achieved. Of course, if I may add, we have the K-12 program,
Yes.
and you know very well what this is all about. We are now in the grade 11 stage of implementing the senior high school phase of the K-12 basic education curriculum. We have enhanced the curriculum. Our curriculum now is designed to make our basic education students competent, ready to work if they don't want to proceed to college, to go to business if they don't want to work for another employer, or go to college if you may. And of course, they are now more ready to enter in the world of college. I'm sure you're very much aware that under the K-12 program, the senior high school program, we have these 4 tracks: the general track, the academic, the tech voc, the sports and arts and design track, where there are fields of specialization, things like that. Critical resources, again, to summarize, Leia, other programs like the Madrasa program, Deaf and Computerization program, the Indigenous Peoples Education program, Alternative Learning System, Alternative Delivery Mode, the K-12 program, enhancing the senior high school, and ensuring that the equipment are okay, providing them enough tech voc equipment, all necessary to make sure that we have quality basic education for all.
Because you already shared to us what DepEd has done and is doing.
Yeah.
So our second question about education for all has already been addressed. So our next question, we would like to proceed to that. What are the possible implications of the ASEAN integration to the Philippine education system?
Okay, again, if we talk about ASEAN integration, we all know that we are only talking about economic integration, not yet integration with respect to the education system. Okay, again, that's economic integration. We foresee that there will come a time that it may be necessary that basic things like opening of classes maybe should be synchronized, so that a graduate in one ASEAN country, if they wish to go, and they should be able to go freely from another ASEAN country and enroll, it will be very seamless, it will be very smooth. They graduate on maybe, for example, June, then they will enroll sometime in September, October, pasok na pasok, not only the students, also the teachers. So I foresee that the competencies that we are looking for our kids should be the same competencies that they should be also looking. I'm talking about, for example, the profession of engineering, medical profession, legal profession. Maybe legal may be different because you need to study the legal system of each country, but medical profession, maybe we should have the same standards, maybe a uniform system of qualifying examination, board examination, so that if one country passes the board, for example, the Philippine medical board examination should be considered a passer in all ASEAN countries. Same thing should be true with the other professions which require a candidate to pass a particular examination. That should be recognized in all the ASEAN countries, and that's why yung tinatawag nating Philippine Qualification Framework, yung tinatawag natin na we are making sure that, for example, a grade 3 student here in the Philippines has the competencies, are learning the same things that a Singaporean grade 3 student is learning in Singapore and all the other ASEAN countries for that matter. So grade 3, grade 6, elementary graduate, high school, And we are now at par with the, not only with the ASEAN countries, but with the rest of the world, with the implementation of K-12. So secondary education, dahil meron na tayo ngayong 12 years of basic education, dapat pareho yan ang nalalaman sa kahit anong batas. At ganoon din, kung maghihiwalay man sa tech-voc track ang bata or college. So dapat pareho yan. Yun yung tinatawag natin Philippine Qualification Framework. Pinag-uhusay natin mabuti yan. I also expect that the Philippine, because we are known to have a good, how would I say this, English course program, if you may. I foresee na maraming mga taga-ASEAN countries na maaaring gustong pumasok sa ating bansa, and dapat palagay ko ang pagandaan niya, among other things. So if you talk about education and also the demand for our teachers, I think, so kung teacher ka rito o baka may common ASEAN competitive teachers board exam na I'm sure our Filipino teachers can pass, baka dahil sa English ang official language of communication, I believe ng ASEAN countries magkakaroon din ng demand sa ating mga English teachers and professors. I think that's some of the implication of ASEAN integration to the Philippine education system. Again, to summarize, our Philippine education system will be further strengthened. Our Philippine education system maybe need to be contextualized at medyo iakma pati yung school calendar, the way I said it, tapos yung standards, kung ano yung mga facilities natin dapat at par with the other ASEAN countries para masiguro, bukod dun sa curriculum natin, yung Philippine Qualification Framework, inaayos natin, na ang nalalaman ng isang grade 3, grade 6, grade 12, and then college, and a tech-voc graduate is the same with that of the other ASEAN countries. So that's what I think are the implications of ASEAN integration to the Philippine education system. Okay, thank you.
So, thank you very much.